Today we've got really big news. We've got an itinerary change on the Sun Princess Inaugural Cruise. We're also going to talk about another cruise line that is having an itinerary change that I believe is equally substantial due to the part of the world that ship will be sailing at the time. And finally, another cruise line that is making a change with dining that's a little bit different than what we have been seeing lately. I've also got a new topic for our Let's Talk series that we're doing here on our channel. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Thursday, it's January 3rd of 2023, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, will you please go ahead and hit that subscribe button? And if you appreciate my updates, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us out, and I appreciate your support, and I look forward to seeing you here every day. So let's start at the top. It is a really big deal, I think, that this close to the inaugural sailing of a brand new ship, we have an itinerary change. So the inaugural cruise for the Sun Princess will set sail on February 8th of 2024. It's a 10-day cruise. It goes from Barcelona, Spain, down to Rome, Italy, and lots of wonderful ports. But let me tell you about the big change. Instead of calling at the island of Santorini, the Sun Princess will now be going to the island of Crete. And so let me tell you the reason, and then we're going to talk about it and some suggestions for you about what you can do in Crete if you happen to be on that sailing. And if you're on another sailing that you're going to Crete, this might help you as well. So first of all, the notice that came with it said, please be advised the Sun Princess will no longer call to Santorini, Greece on Thursday, February 15th, 2024, as onshore activities will be limited due to the Santorini cable car being out of service for maintenance. Instead, we will now call in Crete, Heraklion, Greece, from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on this day. So if you have not been to Santorini, that cable car is really very integral to access to that island. The way that it works there is all of the ships come, they are all anchored right there in, I like to call it is the caldera of where the water is there, where a very long time ago, there was a huge volcanic eruption that changed the whole geological survey of the land there. And so the ship sits there in the area while you are in Santorini for the day. And so you take a local boat, generally is what runs you from the ship over to the island there. You either take an excursion, and in some of those excursions, most of those excursions, you will depart from a little port over a little bit from where the cable car comes down. You get on a bus and off you go on your excursion. Generally, some of them will come back to that place and you'll go back to the ship from there, or an awful lot of them end in Fira there, where you can then go shopping, eat some food, walk around, and then come back to the ship at your leisure. The way that you get back to the ship is you can either walk down the steps or you can go down the cable car. It is truly a very steep side of the island there, as it looks in the videos, and so you really have to either use the steep steps that are they have donkeys that you can pay to ride if you want to, or you can walk up and down the steps. A quick note about that: if you plan to do that, just use a lot of caution, because with a lot of those donkeys being right there on those steps, you often have to dodge donkey droppings there on those steps, and they are known to be very slippery. So with the cable car not being in action, it really changes accessibility to the island, and so clearly that's why they have made this choice. Now, we have been to Santorini several times, and we were honestly really excited to go there again. But let me tell you, Crete is a wonderful island to visit, and if I had my choice, I have been to both of the ports a couple of times each. There's Hania and Heraklion. I would take Heraklion any day, the port that we are going to on that day. And when you get there, it's a port that you get to dock at. When you first get off, there will be, and you walk along Just you don't have to walk very far at all. There will be lots of taxis lined up there with taxi drivers who are really hoping to get to not only take you somewhere that you want to go in town, but even more so take you on a tour. So that is a really great way to see the island or get to the places that you want to go. And Crete is a place that I would trust the taxis. I can't, of course, vouch for all the taxi drivers, but I would feel very comfortable taking a taxi there for a day tour to get to somewhere that I wanted to go. That is a really good way to get around there. Another thing that you can do, last time that Gordon and I were there, we actually walked over to the Heraklion Museum. It is a world-class archaeology museum there. I've been there 2 times now, and they have a lot of the actual artifacts that came out of Knossos Palace there. I'll talk to you about that in 1 minute, as well as a lot of the artifacts from the whole region of the world there. If you study art history at all and you have your art history books, they actually have several of the pieces that are actually world renowned, and so it is worth a visit. You can decide how long you would like to stay there, but there is so much to see in that museum. You can zip through kind of quickly and pick out the highlights, but it is so interesting to go through that museum. In addition to that, as you walk there, it's beautiful just to walk along, and it's I can't remember how long it took us, and we weren't really hurrying. We were just soaking up the sunshine and enjoying the day, but it's not a really long walk. And I'll tell you too that if you ask some of those taxi drivers right there who are waiting and wanting to hope to be able to be employed for the day as a tour guide, or at least a longer ride, to earn more that way, some of them won't want to take you that closely. That's how close that museum is. So we walked over there. When we got done, it's not you're right up there at the top of the hill, and then you can just go right. You're very close there to where the shopping area is, to where there are excellent places to eat. One of the very best places that we have eaten in Greece, we ate at in Crete the last time we were there. Absolutely delicious. So take the time to eat there when you're there. So often, I get caught in my early cruising years. I would think, well, all of our food is paid for on the ship. And in some places that is really okay. But in some places you really should try the local food. And I would say that Crete is one of those places. From there, like I said, there's a lot of shopping. Another thing that's really cool to see there in Crete, they have beaches. We have been to on excursions to beach resorts as well. Another thing that we have done is go to Knossos Palace, like it's Knossoss, I think is how you spell it, Knossos Palace. And that was really, they think of a lot as the center of Minoan culture, Minoan civilization back in the day, a really long time ago. And one of the hypotheses about that is it was destroyed when the volcanic eruption happened that changed Santorini. So tie all that together in your mind. It's really interesting. I am in no way an archaeologist or anything like that. That's just what I have learned from visiting these places and doing some reading. So it's a really interesting place to go see. When you go to Knossos Palace, you can go there on a ship excursion. The excursions are not listed for our cruise yet. The change was just today. In fact, we have not even gotten an email about the change. I should add that. We just came across it as we were looking at our excursions in my app. And then one of the people in our group texted me and said, has our excursion been changed in our port of call? And I said, yeah, I think so. So anyway, just wanted to let you know there is a lot to see there. So whether you're a beach person, whether you're a museum person, whether you're a walk around the town and just take it in and enjoy some nice lunch, do shopping, see the sights, it's a really good place to do that. And then also, if you do employ one of those taxi drivers for the day, you can look in your guidebook, kind of plan out what it is that you want to see, have them take you, or say, you know what, take me on a little tour here, and they will take you and show you a lot of places. So just wanted to let you know that nope, we're not going to Santorini, but all is not lost, because Crete is magnificent. Really a wonderful place to visit. And that's going to lead us to our Let's Talk discussion. So just wanted to let you know about that. And the next thing that I wanted to let you know about here is Norwegian Cruise Line is also making an itinerary change. And I realize that cruise lines really make an itinerary change. Not all the time, but often. And it happens for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it happens because of weather on short notice. Sometimes it's for operational reasons, like we're going to miss Santorini. But lots of different reasons. The really interesting thing about this is that they have just announced that the itinerary change will take place on the Norwegian Star, and it's for guests who are booked on the February 4th, 2024 sailing, and that is one of their cruises that includes scenic cruising in Antarctica. And so the change that they are going to make, they said that they are making these changes as we optimize itineraries for fuel efficiencies. That is the reason that they are citing for changing the Norwegian Star's itinerary. And let me tell you, I kind of have mixed feelings about that. So let me tell the changes and we'll talk about it. So on February 9th, the Norwegian Star is going to be calling in Punta Arenas, Chile. They are going to be there from 8 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And that has not changed. But originally, the scenic cruising of the Chilean fjords was listed for another day. And now it is listed on that very same day. Now, when you look at a map, you've got Punta Arenas, and then you've got the Chilean fjords, and the Chilean fjords are extraordinarily scenic. They are absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. They've got hanging glaciers. They've got just beautiful, beautiful scenery. And truly, it's unlike anything else in the world that I've seen thus far. And I've seen Antarctica, I've seen Alaska, I've seen Norway, up there in the Arctic Circle. And this is just, it's also very beautiful, but different. So it's worth seeing. And so they are going to start visiting those Chilean fjords at 9:25 p.m. local time in Punta Arenas. So even though the fjord cruising is later in the day, they are expecting it to still be spectacular. Of course it will. The only thing that, I'm not crazy about and is the fact that those, if you would have done that earlier in the day, you would be able to see it for a longer time. When we were on our Antarctic cruise and we were going through the Chilean fjords, we were out there from, maybe it was late afternoon, about the time we entered the fjord, maybe like at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, maybe slightly later. And then we just stayed up there until it was so dark that we really couldn't see. And then we went and sat in the buffet on the Coral Princess because it's right on the front, and you could just see out by the moonlight, and it was so beautiful. So I really hope, I would tell anybody who is on that Norwegian Star sailing, be out there so that you can just drink it in and enjoy that. I know 9:25 p.m. it'll still be light there a little bit because it is, it's summertime there. But keep in mind that your window to view that is going to be much smaller. The other change that they are making on that Norwegian Star sailing, when they're in the Falklands, they were due to be in the Falkland Islands from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. and now they are going to be leaving at 3 p.m. That cuts off another hour. Now, I know, but to me, the Falklands, you go so far to be able to visit the Falklands that losing an hour there is a really big deal. And when we were in the Falklands, you get off, and what we did is you take an excursion. All of the excursions take some time there to get you to the places that you're going to see and then to see what you've come to see. And then you have to travel back in there to Port Stanley. After we did our excursion, we walked around Port Stanley. There's a church to see. There's this big whalebone thing. There's an amazing museum that is actually really good. It's more of a local museum, but we learned so much there. It was really, really interesting, all about the Falklands, about the war they had with Argentina, just so much to see there and very interesting. And you know what? I'm a museum person as long as they're interesting, but when they're a little bit boring, you lose me pretty quick. And it was a really good museum. And then they've also got some shops there. So really, to lose an hour, just fill up your time the best you can. And, I have kind of mixed feelings about about changing itineraries for fuel efficiency. I know that they do that to save money. They cite it as easier on the itinerary, but in the long run, they do that to save money. And I'm a little, I just wish that they would stick to what they published. And keep in mind that people are taking these amazing cruises and they want to be in these places for as long as they can. That is my 2 cents. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you think it's okay that they just make these itinerary changes, especially in places that you have to travel so far to be able to see? That's just what I think. The other update that I've got for you really quick here is those of you who are going to be sailing on Norwegian in the near future, Norwegian is going to take their American Diner, which has been a dining experience on board that cost extra. They're going to turn it into complimentary dining. So you can now dine there and not have to pay anything. As I read the information about it and I tried to look back at different news articles and things people had posted about the American Diner, turns out the American Diner isn't the #1 attraction for dining on Norwegian ships. And so that might have something to do with it. They talk about how it's empty a lot of the time. And so a lot of people, I think the goal of cruise lines is to try to spread out everybody as they're eating so the one venue is not so overwhelmed. And when you have one dining venue that is so empty, then people are going to, it fills up the other locations a little bit more. So in this move to do this, they're changing the menu a little bit. They are taking some of the menu items off that were a little bit more pricey, like they had lobster sliders is the main thing they cited that will be taken off the menu. And then they are going to add in some other menu items. Let me tell you what those are so that you can look forward to it. So the menu items that they are expected to have there in the American Diner, they are going to have some of the new appetizers are going to be smoked fish dip, white bean chili, chicken chili, white bean chicken chili, cheese nachos. The sandwich options are going to have a battered fish sandwich, pulled pork sliders, and a chicken salad sandwich. Comfort foods like your chicken pot pie, casserole, and homemade meatloaf are also going to be offered. Now, to eat there, they used to charge $7. Like I said, it's going to be included, and they have already started yesterday, January 2nd. 2 days ago, they've already started the rollout of that change on their cruise ships. And so yesterday, they started rolling it out on the Norwegian Breakaway, and the Norwegian Getaway is going to So January 2nd, just 2 days ago, they started rolling out these differences. So the Norwegian Getaway was the very first ship that those changes took place on. They're going to roll out soon on the Breakaway. And then on January 6th, the Norwegian Escape will have that change. And I'm telling you, because if you're on these sailings, then you know that dining venue is included. And then on January 7th, the Norwegian Encore, the Breakaway, and the Bliss will also start to have that dining venue included in complimentary dining. So it just gives you another place to eat if you weren't wanting to pay. Now, quickly, for our Let's Talk section of the video here, with the port change that was announced for the inaugural sailing, and I was listening to Tony on Lolita Loca's video yesterday, I think it was, and he was talking about the person who complained on Carnival about they went to Florida and it was cold, and so they expected it to be warm, so they were hoping Carnival Cruise Line would give them some money for that. And it would be pretty awesome if somebody gave you money every time you were cold and thought you would be warm. It's really not how it works. But when I think of itinerary changes and people having different things than really what their expectations were, it always comes back. So often I hear the discussion of, well, did I get on board credit for that? What did they give you for that? And so I want to hear from you all. What do you think people should expect to receive? Now, on our port change, on our inaugural sailing, changing from Santorini to Crete, I don't expect any onboard credit for that. We still get to go on an amazing cruise. They're still taking us to a great port. It is something that was out of their control. They can't help when Santorini decides to do their cable car maintenance. Sometimes I think the cruise ships do make changes when they probably shouldn't, and then that would maybe be when I think that maybe a little bit of onboard credit would be appropriate. So tell me in the comments, at what point do you think that that the passengers deserve some onboard credit. I know we have itinerary changes because of weather, and I kind of feel like, unfortunate as that is, the cruise lines don't have any control over the weather, and so I kind of don't expect any remuneration when port changes are either ports are canceled or replaced due to weather. So let me know what you think in the comments. It's a really great topic to talk about, and I look forward to hearing from you. I will see you all here again tomorrow, and I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.